wanna say to me now? I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you.
Hello, Potter's Peak friends. Let's do a whole video on 3 different types of styles of mugs today. So there are so many different variants and ways to make pottery mugs that you get to really play around. There is an absorbent amount of mugs out there, and when you're looking at other artists, it's really fun. This is why I believe a lot of potters end up collecting mugs, is because it really has a unique style, and there's just so many different ways to do this. So we're going to do a whole video today just making 3 different mugs, and I'm going to show you how I make mugs and go from there. So first things first, our elbows are down, our bat is attached. I always throw with a bat. I'm not a huge lover of throwing off the hump all the time or right on my wheelhead. It gets stuck and it's messy and it just bothers me. So I like throwing with a bat. And we're going to center this piece. Remember, when we're centering, our left hand is pushing, our right hand is pulling, and our hands are best friends. So they are working together to make sure that we are making this piece actually centered. And we don't want to move on until we know there is no wiggle left, okay? We don't want a wiggly pot. So once we're centered and we're ready to go, we are going to do our karate chop, push this guy down, and get our hockey puck here. For this first mug, I want to show you how I do my usual mugs. It's a little bit taller, more of like a good sized coffee cup. So I'm going to open this pot, and then I'm going to make sure I compress starting from where my wall meets my floor, and I'm just going right past that middle, back and forth until I feel like it's good and flat. Really, when we're compressing, we just are working on making that bottom flat and even. Now we're going to wrap our sponge completely around the rim of our pot, and we're going to use both of our hands and pull up consistently. So both of our hands are working together, and because we're making a tall mug, we are going up and in. And look at my elbows. Remember, our elbows are down the entire time. We're not messing around, okay? We don't want no wiggly pot. We're not amateur potters here. We're good potters. So we're starting at the bottom and doing our first pull all the way to the top. We're going to regroup that rim, and we're going to do that over and over until we reach the height that we want. And we have the mug that we think is qualified for this video and for a firing. Because if it's not qualified for a firing, it's going into the reclaim, and we're not keeping it. So we're going all the way up and regrouping that rim again. And we're just going to keep doing that over and over again.
I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up.
Now, you guys, I know a lot of you know that we have a lot of our own tools that we make. So one of my favorite tools is actually a mug tool. And as I'm doing this pull, I'm just kind of talking about it because I'm going to show it to you in a second. But it's just a hard plastic that we have shaped into the shape that I like my mugs to be. So then when I'm creating lots of mugs, I know that it's going to be the exact same size, the exact same shape every single time. It's not going to be wonky or a little bit different. I know that if I want my mug to look like this, I can get it to the qualifications that I like, and then I can alter it so it is unique to this piece. So I know that I want this size, and I know that I want this shape. So I'm going to clean up my tool because I put it in my thing dirty. How dare I? I know better, okay? And remember, as we're going, I want to be pushing that inside of my hand up to that rib. And this is where it gets a little tricky. So make sure that you are in control and don't let your pot mess you up here. So we're just pushing that shape, and we're doing it with a clean tool. Remember, everything has to be clean. Now I'm going to take my sponge and just clean up that water a little bit. And then I'm going to finish it by shaping this how I want it to truly look. remember that tool is just a guide. It's a guide to help you. It's not a guide to finish it. We don't use jiggers here in the pottery world. Okay, we're not mass producing. We're not pushing down and actually, having something make it for us. We're using our two hands and we're doing it ourselves. So with that being said, a tool is just a helpful guide to make our pieces look more consistent and to keep it so we have a good idea of what we're trying to do. So we're cleaning this up, and I'm going to use my red rib because I absolutely love how much wiggle room this tool has, and I'm going to shape the rim and the body how I want it to look in the end. So I'm kind of focusing on the top of the rim for this one. I want it to be a little bit more straight up and down, just to give it a little bit more of a unique style.
Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you.
And that's it for this one. Stay to the end to see what it actually looks like once it has a handle on it and it's all trimmed and finished. So let's go to the next one. For this one, I really love just that cappuccino kind of style. We're going to make this one a little bit more short and wide, and it's going to have a beautiful, you could make a very yummy cappuccino in this kind of mug. And that's what we're going for here. The last one was more for your cup of coffee in the morning at home. This one is one that you take to your coffee shop that's local and you say, put a cappuccino in this baby because it looks beautiful and they could do latte art in it. It's the barista's paradise, okay? So that's what we're creating today. We're going to center this just like the other ones. And once we're centered, remember a few key things of centering. You guys will hear me say it so much in all of my videos, is elbows down and we are in control. The clay is not bossing us around. We are doing the work, okay? Don't let the clay do the work. It will try. So now that we have our hockey puck here, we're going to open this piece. And in a lot of these videos, I did not check my thickness. In this one, I did. So I'm checking my thickness, making sure my wheel is turned off. And you want a good 1/4 of an inch bottom, depending on your foot. If you're carving a really nice foot and you want it a little bit deeper, then give yourself a little bit of room. It's okay. It's okay for it to be heavy at this point if you're trimming it away later and you have an idea for a foot. So I know this pot's going to be a little bit wider. We're going to open this a little bit more than we did the last one, and wrapping our sponge completely around that rim. Our thumb is pushing in with our left hand, and we're going to pull up from here, making sure to stay in control the whole time. So slow your wheel down and get in your head in your own little zone and do your pull from here. Are you ready? Look how beautiful this pull is. Gorgeous. Now regroup that rim by pushing it down just a little bit, making sure we stay centered. Okay, that is so important. Please make sure to do that every single pull. We're going to clean off our hands or our gloves, like in my case, and I'm going to start at the bottom again, giving myself that little indent there and pull that up all the way to the top. And it's trying to wiggle on me, but I'm not going to let it. I think my bat is wobbly, and that just happens sometimes, but it's okay. We're going to make this piece perfect, and nobody will know in the end. So we're not going to even worry about it. We're going to give it another pull here, starting all the way at the bottom. Remember, we start at the bottom, pull all the way to the top very evenly, very slowly, and in control. And then we're going to regroup that rim right now. There we go. And clean out that water. And when we clean out the water, we just hold our sponge. We're not wiping, swiping. Okay, we're not Dora the Explorer. I guess we would be Dora the Explorer in this case, saying swipe or no swiping. Thoughts of today. Okay, we're going all the way to the bottom again and pulling all the way up. Now for this one, I want to start shaping because I don't want it super tall. Remember, I want it to look like a cappuccino is going to fit perfectly in this baby. And I'm going to walk up to a coffee shop and the barista is going to go, oh my gosh, this mug is beautiful. Where have you been all my life? So here we are making that happen. And I'm going to kind of shape this out. And I'm going to give this one a funky handle, like maybe upside down. Okay, we'll see. I know. We'll see. And I'm just going to kind of clean this up. And you could even make this one a little bit wider. I mean, the mug decorations are limitless. Like, you can do whatever you want. It's your mug. And that's such a cool thing to say. Like, it's yours. You are the painter, okay? In this case, you are the potter. It's such a cool concept. I don't know. It makes me giddy. Okay. Now, let's finish this baby up and I can show you what it looks like. Remember, stay to the end so you can actually see what these guys look like when they're done. All right, finally, we are on mug number 3, you guys. This one, I thought the first one was going to be tall, but I actually am going to make this one even taller. And this one is, if you guys have seen my Arizona like desert theme mugs, they're pretty tall and more skinny. And that is actually like truly some of my favorite coffee mugs. It really depends. You can put juice in there. You can put beer if you're a beer drinker, if you're a wine drinker. I don't know. Put whatever you drink out of your fancy cup because today is your fancy day. So who cares? Like, put whatever you want in there. It's your day. Okay. So I'm going to make that one today. And as I'm doing this, I am centering because you guys have seen me center so many times in this video. So I'm watching you if you watch this video. And I really actually don't sit here and watch who watches my videos, but I know you know how to center if you've watched this 3 times now. Okay. So we're opening this up. And you guys, when you're opening, I want you to make sure you don't go all the way down to the bottom. So give yourself room. That's why we check our thicknesses. Okay? Like I didn't do in this one, apparently. But this is a voiceover, obviously, because I'm already compressing. But I checked my thickness in the second one, so be proud of me there. A lot of times, once you become better and better and you've done pottery for a long time, you won't see people check their thickness because we know almost like with muscle memory exactly when to stop, and we can get that 1/4 of an inch or whatever thickness that we're used to constantly. So it's actually more rare to see potters in videos check their thicknesses, but because I'm teaching and I like to show you guys exactly what to do so you can learn properly, I like to tell you to check your thickness until you get that muscle memory and you know when to stop, or else you never know when to stop. Your pots are always too thick and they like to randomly explode in the kiln and then you don't know why, and you're 3 years later down the road and you're like, I've been doing this for 3 flipping years. Why is this not working? And it's like your teacher never taught you how to check your thickness and you never got that muscle memory and now you don't know how to do it. So if you're watching this video, grab your wooden pin tool, not your metal pin tool, your wooden one, because the metal one is thicker than the wooden one. Put them up next to each other if you don't believe me, and check your thickness. Thanks. My PSA for today. Okay, we're on pulling. I didn't talk through like centering and karate chopping and hockey pucking because you guys have seen it twice now. So we are just pulling, starting all the way at that bottom, pulling all the way to the top. My speed is the same on my wheel. Remember, once we get taller, we want to make sure that we actually slow our wheel down, slow our hands down, because if our wheel goes slower, our hands go slower, and make sure we stay controlled the whole time. So I'm making this one a little bit tall. I didn't measure it, okay? If you guys saw my Stanley video, I don't know if I posted my Stanley video yet by the time you see this. If you haven't, go look for my, I made a Stanley cup, and I'm pretty proud of it. So talking about mugs, I made a big mug. And so when you're pulling, especially if you're making tall pieces, you have to start slowing down once you get to the top, or else it's going to flop. Like, have you ever seen those videos where people are pulling and then all of a sudden the top gets all floppy? You don't want that. No. Okay, we want this to be beautiful. We don't want a floppy top. Like mine right now. Don't look at it too closely. Okay. A lot of our bats get warped. We actually, we're a community studio, so stuff happens. And we just have to learn to roll with the punches when our bats get warped. And we cry a little bit on the inside, but it's okay. We make do with what we have, because we know there's other studios that don't even have bats. So I'm thankful for this. Just my little PSA. Okay, I am pulling and I'm pulling. You guys see that beautiful pull all the way to the top? And then I'm going to regroup my rim and going all the way down again. And I have a little wobble. Did you see that little fold in there? That I got too thin and it wanted to come apart right there. So because I did that, instead of starting at the bottom, I started where that little wobble was and just held it. Okay. You don't want to do another pull when it's like that. You want to just hold it and fix it and then start again from the bottom, making sure you get enough clay to even that whole base back out. So here I am doing just that. And I'm starting at the bottom, get in that little pull. Do you see that? And I'm using my red rib here to kind of, because it's already wobbly. So I don't want it to go down. I don't want it to get any more little wobbles in that neck. So I'm using my rib now to shape. So my inside fingers are pushing, but very, 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 very gently. And I'm just kind of cleaning this mug up to get it how I want it to look, because I know it's thin, okay? It just created little ripples. I know that this guy is thin, and I need to get the water out of the inside. When you guys get the water out of the inside, make sure your pot is spinning. Don't try to do it when your pot's not spinning. It's not going to work. So, and it's going to, if you swipe a mud, or like, I don't know, what do I usually say to students? If you swipe a sandcastle with a little sponge, half of your sandcastle is going to disappear and the other part of it is going to stay there, and you need all of your sandcastle to be even all the way around, or else it's going to collapse, okay? The knights are going to come in and take away your sandcastle with a little spray gun. We don't want that. Okay, we want it to be even all the way around. And I'm just kind of cleaning this baby up. And then I'm going to take my knife tool. This is my favorite tool because I hate trimming all this excess later on. I just want to clean it up now. So at an angle, taking my knife, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bat, and then I'm going to flip this guy around, and I'm going to clean it all up right then and there. And look at that mug. Look at that mug. She's beautiful. So now let's show you guys what they look like trimmed. Before I show you what they look like when I trim them, these are the 3 mugs that we just threw. They're so pretty. All right, I hope you didn't go anywhere yet, because we're going to trim these babies. And I'm just doing a fast little showing of this trim. I have a little wobbly rim over here, so the trimming process isn't as beautiful as it usually is. So I didn't want to record these, I'm not going to lie, but I put them out still. My main thing that I wanted to show you is sometimes it's okay, it's not perfect. And we're going to add handles. And I don't usually record how I do handles, because first off, it's awkward. Second off, people are weird online. So I'm going to put it in this video, but if I see one comment on it being just creepy and gross, I'm taking it down. So my little PSA, because I keep saying that in this video, not that video. So let's get it set up. First things first, we need to be at a table. Okay, we're going to grab fresh clay, and fresh clay is important. You don't want it to already be worked. If it is already worked, it's going to be more susceptible to break and just be more overworked and frail. So we want fresh clay for this. It's very important. I'm just taking a little piece, and it's, by the way, the technical term for this is called clay being short. We don't want our clay to be short because it messes everything up. So I'm taking a little piece, and I'm taking my little knife paint cutter thing, whatever you call this, and I'm cutting 3 little sections because we have 3 little mugs. So cutting my little squares, and then I turn these into carrots. So I'm tapping these down, very controlled. I'm not just throwing these all over the place. I am tapping them, and my whole focus right here is to get the top part thinner than the bottom part thinner than the top part. And then I give them one last slap at the end to make one side flat. So tap, 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 getting that like bottom part a little bit more thinned out, and then I roll that bottom part to stay thinned out, and then I give it 1 table slap. Done. Next one. That little slap is important because that's going to be the back of our handle, and we need the top part to stay round because that's going to be the top part of our handle that we're shaping. So, weird little thing, we're making carrots today. Carrots making 101. So, little slap, and then we are going to grab our little putty knife, and we're going to take the tops off. We don't want that extra clay. We'll use it later, though, so don't throw it away because we need little thumb breasts on our mugs. So, putting all that to the side, and I'm going to grab my mug. We're going to start with this guy, and we tried out these new buckets. I decided I hated it immediately because I usually dunk half my pot, and this is me immediately seeing, I can't dunk my pot. And I'm telling Lena, slash my mother over there, that I can't put my pot in there. So now I'm spraying water all over my pot. This is not how I usually do it, so bear with me. I got a new bucket, and we were buying more buckets for the students, and we were testing out different ones for the shop, and I hated this one. So there's that. Only because of handle making. So now, to get back on track, I am scoring the top of my handle after I dunked my pot. Scoring it, really slicing it up, getting it all mushy-gushy on top. I don't use slip, so this is how I create my own slip. And I'm going to clean up the edges because it helps later on. And then I'm going to make sure my hands are dry. I want you guys to really be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to move you over here so hopefully you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to score this again because now it's sat for a second and I don't want anything to be dry. And I'm going to hold the inside of my pot. And I'm going to squish it on there, rocking it back and forth, giving it a little rock back and forth and pinching where I want to have that line in the middle and on the sides. I like my handles to really show a lot of beauty and dimension to them. So now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm just going to make sure it's attached all the way around. I obviously I'm out of the camera for this, but all I'm doing is making sure that it is attached and it is not going to go anywhere. So now, after I get it all cleaned up, I'm going to pull my handles. I only extrude handles if I'm making them for a tray or something, if I need them to be more like a tray. But we are going to pull handles here. And as we're pulling, we are moving our pot. If you look at my pot, it's horizontal this entire time, but I need it to be moved back and forth constantly. I did not do good on my camera angles here, you guys. So just bear with me. I am getting better at this. It's actually really hard to video in a community studio because I don't want to get anybody else in the shot because I want to protect their privacy, but I'm trying to video and there's just weird things that go along with it. So I'm pulling this and getting it all cleaned up. And then I want to make sure that it is even and not crooked. So really take the time here to make sure that it's not crooked. And then I'm going to flip my pot upright and I'm going to attach that handle. And I really hope I did a better job. There we go. Okay. And we're going to attach that bottom and pinch it off. And then we're going to smooth out that bottom right there. Make sure that it's attached all the way around and really get it to make sure it looks the way that you want it to look. And then we're going to, I like to dry my handles upside down because then it gives them the ability to kind of stay in the same shape and not get funky on the bottom there. I'm just smoothing everything out. Handles take time and we want to make sure that it's nice and it works good. We don't want it to look funky. We want a beautiful handle. If I grab a pot and the handle's funky, I won't buy it. So I'm picky on my handles. And I hope people do the same with mine. If they're like, this handle's weird, I get it. So don't buy it. I don't know. Making this piece all beautiful. Let's turn on some music and you guys can watch the next one.
I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to you now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna
Okay, this is our next pot, and I think it's gonna fit in this bucket. So pick the spot that you want your handle. Is it gonna fit? Is it gonna fit? Yes. Okay, dunk half of your pot, and then we're going to attach the handle to this. So I always put the wet side close to me so I know where I dunked it, because in like 5 seconds it will look like it's dry and you won't see it anymore and you'll be sad and try to find it again. So the wet part is next to me, and I'm going to score the top of my handle again. We want to use that rigid metal tool, so then we know that it is actually really scoring it and we're not just wiggling it, because we're not using slip. Remember, we need that slurry to come from this. So I'm pushing in pretty decent push, and I'm holding the inside so I don't actually break my cup, because that would be super sad. So I'm taking my thumbs and I'm doing that line again. You guys see, I put those lines in as after I attach it. Really, you could let go of this pot right now and it should already hold up. Like, if you see, I'm not holding the handle part, it's already holding it up by itself. You should push hard enough that it is already stuck before you do anything. And then the paintbrush really is just to help clean up and make sure there's no little missing spots. I like the attachment part to look really nice. So now we're going to pull our handles again, and doing it over the bucket, this is messy, okay? We're going to pull down, and then we're going to turn our piece and pull down again, and we're not pinching. Our hands are more like little alligators, okay? When you teach kids how to do little alligator stuff in class, we got alligator fingers, okay? We're pulling down, not pulling back up, straight down, and then right at the top again. And we're going to do that until we find the length that we want and it's not bulky. And then I like to flip my piece and push it down again, make sure it's sealed there, and pinch off the rest. And then I'm going to clean it up, because that bottom is messy and we don't want that. We want a nice clean handle. So this guy is turning out beautiful. I'm so excited. I love making mugs. And if you guys know me, like if you guys see me in real life, I'm always frantic and crazy because I own a business, and I constantly am juggling a coffee shop and a pottery studio and just life. Okay, just life. So sometimes when I actually get time to create, it is a magical moment for me. And it reminds me of why I started doing this in the first place. I love pottery and I love making things with my own 2 hands, and I have so much fun with it. So I want to share that with the world, and I really want you guys to love it too and actually do it like correctly so you're not struggling, because so many potters out there train people wrong on purpose, and it drives me insane because they are jelly if somebody else is better than them, and I want you to be better than me. Show me up, okay? Make cool shoot. I don't want to say bad words, so make cool shoot, you guys. Okay, so I am cleaning my hands up, and I did not show you guys this on my last one, and I forgot to put it on. So I'm rolling a little ball and pushing it down, and this is my thumb rest. So we need a score because I don't make slip. So, and I have this little, it's like a little teardrop. Or when I was teaching, I was telling everybody it reminds me of like a little sculpted face. It's just like a teeny tiny little sculpted face. And we're going to add that to our handle. And it just makes handles so much more comfortable when you are, when you're making your pot of coffee in the morning and you're trying to hold it and you have something to kind of grip. It's just a little added touch that just makes, in my opinion, a mug so much better. So I'm adding my little thumb rest here, and I'm just cleaning it up as I go because I don't want it to pop off. I want it to actually be sealed. And there we go. And then I have a chop, and I like to add little circles onto my pots and then stamp my little circle instead of just stamping my pots. I do it differently on all of these, so it just kind of depends on, it depends. Sometimes I chop it without the little circle, but if I have time, you guys, these little circles are coming out, okay? And I'm going to put it randomly. I'm not going to put it on the bottom, okay? I'm going to put it randomly somewhere on my pot, so you guys can look for it and find it and be like, oh, it says RKL, which means Rose K. Levesque, because that's my name. And I know people are always like, you should sign it your whole name so people can find you. You know, there's a million potters in the world, and if you know I stamp mine RKL and you find me, if somebody finds me at Goodwill, first off, I'm disappointed. Okay, I'm disappointed in whoever gave that pot to Goodwill, and then you'll never be able to find me because RKL, who knows who RKL is? Okay, it's me, you guys. So if you find my pot at Goodwill, you better buy it because it should not be at Goodwill. I'll be so mad. But we're not going to talk about that. Okay, rolling my little things, rolling my little thumb rest, and then I want to show you guys how to do a upside down handle. So let's get to that. We're going to skip this part. Okay, next mug. This is our little cappuccino mug. And you guys, one thing about me, as you guys know, is that because I also run the studio, my pots dry out far longer than I ever want them to and ever longer than they ever should. So these pots are a little dry, and I'm really just praying that the handle actually sticks to them because they're not that leather hard consistency like they should be. They are more like 2 days past that leather hard consistency where if you touch it, it's a little white. And we don't want our pots a little white, okay, unless you're throwing with like a B-mix or a porcelain, okay? We want our brown pots to stay brown, okay? We don't want that little white dust. It is not okay. It's not okay. Okay, so I'm praying that these all work. But for this little guy, we're still dunking half of it, and then we're going to flip it upside down. So flip that baby because we're putting this handle on upside down. And I just think it looks so cute when it's upside down and it's a little funky and just cute. So we're going to attach it just like we did last time. Remember, we scored it. This time, I'm holding the pot because I can't obviously hold the inside. And it makes it a little bit more tricky. So we're going to just really take our time here and make sure that you're not pushing in too much. Because my pots are a little dry, I was a little scared of just popping this right through. But it's okay. It survived. So we are cleaning that up. Take your time. Make sure that it's cleaned up and it's nice and just perfect, okay? We don't want this guy to randomly sprig off later and hit somebody else's pot and, really it just will damage your pot if a handle falls off. But, yeah, so we're just taking our time here. We're going to dunk our little handle in this water just to get it wet, and then we're going to pull just like we did for the other ones. Remember, our pot stays horizontal the entire time, okay? The handle should be like it's falling. We're going to let gravity take hold. And that will happen every now and then where you accidentally pull too much off. Okay, it had a little weak spot and half of it fell off. It's okay. We still had enough clay. We don't have to take it off. You can just scrape that off and do another one. But I'm doing a little handle, so it really didn't matter for me. So I am still pulling, making sure my hands stay wet. It should glide, not stick. If it sticks at all, that's going to happen again where half of it just rips right off. So make sure that it is a good, like your hand is good and wet. We don't want any sticky hands. So this one, because I'm flipping it upside down, I'm being a little bit more picky about what the top looks like because I can't just pinch it off. Okay, so I'm going to kind of mess with this, and I realized once I set it down it was a little crooked, so I'm just going to kind of rub the top to fix that angle, and then I'm going to flip it upside down, and I wish I got a better quality like angle, but you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm just rubbing all of this again. My video editing is so going to get better, I swear. So stay with me, you guys. I'm getting okay at this, I swear. But for the most part, for now, all I'm doing is cleaning that up. So let me skip this so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so I just stuck it to that top part, and you guys can see how I stuck it right there, and then I kind of squished it to be a weird little shape that I wanted, and I just made sure that it's all stuck. I'm not going to attach a thumb rest to this guy because he's upside down, but this is what they look like when they're all done, and I hope you guys enjoyed.